I wanted to make this video to encourage you. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you can do this. Hey, welcome back to Two Old Crows Homestead. Shelly here. So I am, what day is today? This video will actually, I think today's the 3rd. This video will actually be uploaded on the 4th. And so this is in my attempt to put out a video every day. But right now, I am out here in my raised tomato bed, my tall one, and I'm trying to get everything out of this bed and get it cleaned out. I got a message from a friend on Facebook, and she said to make sure that all of my stuff got covered up tonight. This is so funny. She's in this group. So sometimes we order stuff from Azure Standard, and I don't know if any of y'all use that or not, but you can get bulk stuff from there. And so I've been getting, because I don't have any rosemary growing, and we feed rosemary to our pigs to help with the nutrients that they need. And so I've been getting rosemary from them, from Azure Standard, in bulk. So I order it each month from Azure Standard until I can get it planted in the ground and get a supply of rosemary for them. So anyways, my friend told me to make sure I covered up all my plants tonight if I still had stuff out. And goofy me, I've not even been watching the weather. So I was like, is that a warning that things are supposed to get bad tonight? So I don't know. But anyways, I am cutting back stuff to, because my tomato plants are pretty much done for. And I want to get this bed cleaned out. Thinking about maybe planting garlic up here, keeping it away from the dogs and stuff. So yeah, I want to get this bed cleaned out and do that. So I was coming home from the Self-Reliance Festival. My friend Angie, you saw her a little bit on that video. Angie has actually been my best friend since I was 12, I think. And she's a couple years older than me, but we went through junior high together and high school and have remained friends over the years. And so she came down, she lives in Indianapolis. She came down to go to the festival with me. And I think she really enjoyed it. I know I really enjoyed it. She met a lot of cool people. And because, you know, I only hang out with the cool kids. So she really enjoyed that part of it. And learned a lot of neat things. One of the things that she told me, because when we were driving home, I was just like, okay, so what was one takeaway? Something that you learned at the festival that you want to go home and do. Because again, she lives in Indianapolis, and it's like urban Indianapolis. She doesn't have, her and Steven, her boyfriend, they have a house with a yard and all that kind of stuff, and she grows a garden. And she was like, I don't know, it was just so overwhelming because you talk about a lot of different stuff, and everybody has a different take on preparedness and how to do that, or how to get sustainable. or self-reliant, whatever you want to call it. Everybody has a different idea on how to begin that. And I think she was a little bit overwhelmed. And I think a lot of people doing this, they get a little bit overwhelmed. To the point that when they don't know where to begin or how to begin, they just don't begin. Don't do that. So if you're in a place where you want to, maybe you want to get land, maybe you don't want to get land, maybe you want to do this where you're at, and that's fine too. Just start making a list of skills that you want to learn. Maybe that is, you want to learn how to garden. Because I can tell you, there's probably 5 million videos on YouTube that will help you learn how to garden. And there's a few that I kind of stick with when I'm looking for what I would consider to be expert advice. And I'm not talking about people that have like a degree in gardening or they have a master gardener certificate. I'm talking about people that have been doing this like forever. Maybe they learned how to garden from their grandparents or something. And, they've been successfully growing a garden for a long time. One of those channels would be Deep South Homestead. Deep South Homestead, Danny and Wanda, they've been doing it for most of their lives. They're good at gardening. So go check them out. But then again, you run into the whole thing of they're in a whole different zone than me. And maybe they, garden a whole different way than I do. Or they need to garden, or I need to garden a different way from them. And Danny will even answer your questions and, say, hey, if you're in a different zone, you need to do it this way. Or you need to check into this or whatever. Where I'm at here in Kentucky, honestly, I've had a lot of success by just asking people who live close to me, who are good at gardening. How do you do this? How do you grow this? How, what tomato works best for you here? I've had more success doing that than anything. Maybe the thing that you want to learn how to do is raise animals. Maybe you want to do chickens. Maybe wherever you live, you're able to do some backyard chickens and just not have roosters. Some places are like that. They don't want, noisy roosters, or they have a rule against that. That's fine. If you're not allowed to have chickens, raise quail. Do that in your garage. Or rabbits. I'm telling you what, you can get a whole lot of meat from rabbits and they make no noise. Maybe you want to learn a skill. Maybe you want to learn woodworking or carpentry or, building skills or something like that. There are channels out there that will teach you how to do that. Maybe you have issues. Maybe you're wanting to make sure that you have water on your place. There are channels that will teach you how to do that. And, I'm always talking about YouTube and looking at YouTube for stuff. But you know what? Your public library is a great resource. You can find a bazillion how-to books at your public library. I know this is crooked and I'm sorry. Yeah, that's better. But use this time as your classroom. Go and make a list of all the things that you think, okay, I went to a festival this weekend and they talked about this, this, and this. And I'm going to put that on my list for 2023. By the end of 2022, I want to learn how to do A, B, and C. Just start by making a list. Where I work at, I'm the trainer where I work at, and I have a group that I work with every year. It's called our Leadership Development Program. And that's what we do. And it's really kind of like, it's all about teaching people to develop themselves. But it's also, ultimately with our company, our goal is to have a good succession plan and to have leaders to take over in the future, right? But one of the things that I teach them is developing SMART goals. So, SMART and many of y'all probably know this, but SMART is an acronym for specific. S is for specific, meaning that, you don't have like a vague goal that you're trying to pursue. S means, M means measurable. That goal that you have, it can be measured. So you're not saying something like, I want to lose weight in 2021. You're saying, I'm going to measure it. I want to lose so many pounds per month. And you can track that like an Excel spreadsheet or something. The A stands for achievable. So it's not out of your grasp, but it's a little bit of a challenge, right? The R stands for relevant. So it needs to be relevant to what you're doing. You wouldn't write down a goal of losing 20 pounds if you don't need to lose 20 pounds. It's not relevant to you, right? So it needs to be relevant to your situation. And the T in SMART stands for it's time. It's time bound. So that means that you're going to say whatever it is you're going to do. Maybe you want to have a goal of paying off your house. You need to put a time to that. So I want to pay off my property in 5 years, or I want to learn. I want to become a master gardener in 10 months, or whatever it is. It needs to be time bound. So sit down, start making a list, and don't overwhelm yourself. Man, if you're talking about, so like right now it's October, it's the beginning of the fourth quarter of the year. Start preparing for 2023. Start making a list of things that you want to accomplish in 2023. I think as homesteaders, especially when we're getting started, it's like we come in and we just want to do everything. We want to get the pigs and get the chickens and plant the garden and make the compost, and then oh my gosh, we need to get a cow, we need to get sheep, we have pasture, we need to graze it, and all of the things. I'm just going to tell you right now, don't do that. Do one thing. Get your chickens. Set up your chicken tractor on steroids with your chickens, and do that for however long it takes to where you feel like you're comfortable with that. It might be a year. It might be 6 months. I don't know. But do that for a while. Learn your chickens. Understand that when they're acting funny, that something may be wrong with them. Get to know them. You know what I'm saying? Just watch them and you know when something's wrong with them. Take it a step at a time. I saw a meme today on social media, and it had one guy going up a step ladder, and so the guy was like this tall and the steps are like this, and he's stepping up the step ladder. On the other side, there's another guy with a step ladder, and the steps are actually taller than the guy. And the thing said, taking small steps really does make a difference. Take small steps. Don't overwhelm yourself, because if you overwhelm yourself, you're just going to get discouraged and stop. Make your goals achievable. So when you sit down to write out your goals for 2023, and some people look at this and they're like, that's whatever, I don't want to do that. I'm telling you, if you take a minute, write down your goals, and for 2023, keep it at 3 to 5 goals. And don't make all of them super hard. Make like 3 of them fairly easy and 2 of them a little bit difficult. Or make 2 of them super easy and 1 of them a little bit difficult. Don't make it super hard. I just want to encourage you, if you're feeling overwhelmed, a plan is a good thing. You know, think about, okay, at the end, I'm in October of 2022, and in October to the end of 2023, where do I want to be? You know, if you're focusing on your chickens, you can have meat birds and egg production, and that can be a portion of you becoming self-reliant by the end of 2023. Just try it. But don't get discouraged. Don't think that you can't do it. And don't let people tell you that you can't do it. Because if people are telling you that you can't do it, you know, they may be the people that you love, and maybe you just need to prove to them that you can do it, and then they'll come around. Because let me let you in on a little secret. By and large, every garden I've ever grown has been a failure. And I'm talking over 20 years, man. And I'm not saying that I planted a garden every year for 20 years. I'm saying that probably, I don't know, 12 out of those 20 years, I tried to plant a garden and I failed. And sometimes I would get a few little things out of it, but by and large, there was no big harvest, nothing to write home about, nothing being canned, nothing like that. And so when we came here, and I'm like, okay, this is where I want my garden to be. You know, I would kind of look at Randy, and he would kind of like have a little smirk on his face, like, yeah, we're going to garden. Now, don't get me wrong. Randy is a huge encourager, and he has always, anything that I've ever wanted to do, he has always encouraged me to do it, and he's always been there to help me. Now, in his mind, he might be thinking, this is kind of pointless, but, you know, I'm going to be there anyway. And one of the things that we've been fairly good at is raising meat. We're good at raising pigs. We can raise chickens. You know, we harvested chickens. We're good at raising meat. But I've not really ever been good at gardening. So when the whole gardening thing started, he's like, okay. So he helped me build the raised beds. The raised bed that I'm working in right now, Crystal and I built. But the ones over there, he helped me build them. Probably about half of them, I think. And, but for the most part, I'm the one that planted them. I got out there and did that. And he was, and I'm not saying that he didn't want to help me, because, you know, he works a full-time job, and I would get out here in the evening and work in my garden and plant things. But this year, even with the failures that we had, I still kept going. I was like, I'm going to make this happen. I am determined. We planted green beans over there in that fence row, and I know y'all seen the video about that. And then the drought hit, and my green bean plants weren't hardly doing anything. I mean, they're just barely creeping up. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get green beans. So then I come in here to my garden beds, and I planted, I pulled out some stuff that didn't work in the garden beds, and I planted bush beans in the garden beds. When those things started growing, the green beans that were over there on the fence row, man, they took off. We were bringing in, I don't know, about a gallon of green beans every other day. And I think right now, I mean, I've given probably 10 gallons of green beans away. I've canned a buttload of them. I've got probably 6 gallons of green beans in the freezer. We've got tons of green beans. And after, while harvesting those, the bush beans took off, and I harvested a bunch of those. And when Randy started seeing the stuff come in out of the garden, well, then I would come home from work, and there would be stuff out on the table that he's come out here and harvested, because, you know, he was like, okay, she's doing it. Sometimes you got to show people, you know, they may be the ones sitting there going, I don't know about this. Do it anyway. Go out there and plant it anyway. Grow it anyway. And if it dies, if it fails, grow it again. Plant it somewhere else. You know, psych the bugs out. Move your stuff. Maybe they won't find it this time. So, dude, I'm not throwing it. I'm not throwing it. I'm making a video. I'm not throwing it. Come here. You want to be in a video? Come here. Come on. Get up here. Come here. Come here. Come here. No, you just want me to throw it. Go get it. But seriously, don't be discouraged. And if somebody tries to discourage you, I'm not throwing it again. Don't bark. No, dude, come on. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing. Go play with somebody else. I need to get you one of those shooter things. If somebody discourages you, just put a smile on your face and say, I'm going to do it anyway, and go do it. And if they still are just like calling you crazy, maybe they're not your people. Maybe you need to go find other people. Maybe you need to come down to the Self-Reliance Festival or the Back to the Land Festival. Maybe you need to come up and say, hey, Shelly, are you my people? Because maybe I'm your people. I don't know. I'm serious. Just do it. Don't be discouraged. I wanted to make this video to encourage you. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you can do this. Make a list and just take small chunks, take small bites. What is that thing? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Take small bites and make small steps, and it'll make great return. I promise. I'll see y'all later. Yeah, God bless you. Have a great day.